Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and the last review I want to do today is kind of a special review. It's special because it is the first Figma figure that I've ever purchased, made by Max Factory, Good Smile Company. It's Samus Aran from Metroid Other M. I don't care which game it's from, I just wanted a Samus figure, and they're all basically the same design. So I'm super duper happy to finally have this figure. I guess they're getting hard to come by, so I jumped on it when I had the opportunity, and I couldn't be happier. First, I guess let me show you the packaging. Samus comes in this windowed box, which is kind of a standard type of box. Pretty nice looking. Max Factory Good Smile across the top. Nice big window in the front. And it says Figma Max Factory Action Figure Series. Product number 133, Metroid Other M. Nothing too special there. Picture of the figure on the side. It says Figma again. Just pretty cool looking box art overall. Lots of nice poses throughout the back of the package. Some Japanese writing that I can't read, but there's the figure and some optional poses, things you might want to try out. Very articulated. Can't wait to really take a look at this figure. But just really nice looking overall. Nice packaging, which is always nice, even if you're not a mock collector like I'm not, still nice. And it is an official Nintendo product right there. So let's set that aside. Before we look at the figure, let's look at the clamshell inside. It's a two-part clamshell, kind of like Hot Toys or most Play Arts figures. It keeps everything in place. It doesn't come off easily. Samus, of course, comes in has a plastic overlay to protect her from the packaging, and then there's a baggie for the stuff down there. I'll show you that in a second. So there's the overlay that just holds everything in place. And there's the carbonite hole where Samus sits. Up here we have the, I don't know what this is called, to be completely honest, but this is when Samus rolls up into the little ball and drops bombs. It does have a peg hole in the back. I'll show you that right now, so that you can actually put it in the air and make it look like she's about to drop some bombs. So there's the base with the thing on there, and this is fully posable however you want, so whatever you want to do, and this can spin on there. So it's nicely made. It's nice and heavy. It feels like it's probably solid, or at least mostly solid plastic. It's nice and metallic. The red's metallic, the yellow's metallic. Everything's painted really nicely. It's all sculpted details. And this even looks to be translucent yellow, or at least a layer of clear plastic over a metallic yellow to give it like some depth. So that's a really nice touch. Nice little accessory. In these two slots that I just dropped everything out of, you have the two, you probably can't see any of this. Let's do that. Alright, so in these two slots you have just the two different blasters, or blast effects. One single one, and one double. They're basically the same thing, just one's double, one's a single. That's it. They are made out of translucent pinkish red plastic, so at the narrower spots or at the smaller sculpted details, the pink is more intense, and at the larger areas it's more white. So that's kind of nice. It gives it some variation even though it's not actually painted differently. And in this spot right here next to those, there is this alternate blaster head or tip or whatever you want to call it. I'll show you that in a little bit. At the bottom of the packaging you get the brick that holds the alternate hands. You have a semi-open or closed fingered open hand. I'll show you the other open hand that's on the figure. A thumbs up left hand and a fist for each hand. Those just pop out. You have extra slots to put in other hands if you want to. The one that she has on right now. So you get alternate hands. They're all sculpted and painted very nicely, and they all have the hinge for the articulation. So that's nice. You also get a baggie to keep your extra parts in. I don't think you can see that probably, but you get a baggie that says Figma. It's a nice heavy duty, nice quality plastic baggie with a Ziploc on the top. So that's nice. And then like I already said, you've got the Figma base that actually says Figma on it. It's kind of frosted on the bottom. This part's all clear except for the 3 screws. Each one does hinge individually, and they're nice and stiff so the figure won't fall over, and it rotates as well. So that's a nice little bonus stand thingy. We will just leave this on there for now. Samus does have a hole in her back, and I'll show you that too, but very nice. And I'll show you these in use in a second. Let's look at the figure because that's what everybody really cares about. SAMUS stands roughly 6.5 inches tall. So even though it's a Figma, it's got some decent size to it. Pretty happy about that. Paintwork is phenomenal. Sculpt work is phenomenal. Really everything looks exactly as it should. I couldn't be happier. Just like the yellow stripper on the center of the ball, her visor is painted metallic greenish yellow in there, but then there's also a clear piece over top to give it some depth and some three-dimensionality. That's not a word, but that's okay. That's what it looks like. So that's a very nice touch. Everything's painted very crisply. Everything that's supposed to be metallic is the thrusters on the back or boosters. Sculpted nicely. There's the peg hole, by the way, for the base. The hip things, this part right here, in there, that's soft plastic so that they don't get in the way of the leg articulation. So that's nice. Okay, let's show you the blaster while we're here. Blaster, this is the standard tip, all narrow. Both of the blasts fit in either one, but I would put the single blast in that one. Alright, it just snaps in. You can also swap that out for the other blaster. Where'd that go? Right here. They just swap right out. You can see that they're shaped so you know which way it goes. So that goes right there. You can't tell that they're interchangeable really, so that's nice. And then these just peg in. You can do either one. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this one. I think it's just too long for a nice pose. It looks awkward. So I would use just the single one if I was going to do it. And I'm perfectly happy with that. So the blaster is interchangeable. And like I said, the hands are interchangeable and they simply just pop out straight pegs, so you don't have to worry about breaking anything. They all have the hinge on there, and since they're pegged in, they all rotate. So that looks great. All the hands work nicely. I'm just partial to that one, so I'm going to leave that on there for now. Take the blaster off to get that out of the way. Let's talk articulation. The head is easy to show you. Pops right off. It's an old school ball socket in the bottom. The head has the ball peg right there, but it also has a second joint inside the head that lets it rock from side to side. So you have an extra bit of articulation. It also goes forward and backwards. It's really just another ball peg. So plenty of mobility in the head. Since the character is wearing armor, it's somewhat restricted, but you can still get plenty of nice poses out of there. Really no complaints. Up and down is limited, but that's really just due to the style of the helmet, so can't really complain about that. The shoulders, it looks like, yep, the shoulders are on old school ball hole, ball socket in there, and then you can see in here what we actually have going on. The shoulder armor is connected on a ball peg at the top there. It's a ball peg that goes into the torso to hold the arm together, and then the arm itself is on another ball peg, so that moves around on there however you want. And of course it has a bicep swivel due to the ball peg, so plenty of range of motion there, all independent. And really the only complaint I have about this design, and it's not really necessarily even a complaint, is that because of that articulation, sometimes you get a spot where there, you can see how it's kind of straight through. You can see right through. All you can see is the ball peg. Now realistically, when you're posing it, you can counteract that by just putting the armor the way you want it, and it won't really be a problem. But it is a little bit too far out. I don't think it needed to be that far out. It's not necessary, but it does lend itself to some extra posing. And of course, if you push the arm in farther like you're supposed to, it's not really a problem at all. So it's not really a problem. The elbow is on a disc joint. This is new to me. It's basically like a ball disc, but there's no rotation in it. Or is there? Yeah, there is. There is a little bit of rotation in there. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. It's not that useful because of the design, but you have, even though it's a single joint, you have almost full articulation. So that's really good. It's nice and concealed. You can't tell it's really a joint. So I'm really happy about that. Full range of motion. The hands, like I said, they have plenty of motion there. Full rotation. That's great. The torso is a double ball bar, so it spins at the top and inside. Decent range of motion. Not a huge amount there. There goes the head. But decent range of motion. in the torso, full rotation. Really all the articulation you're going to need. It's fine. The hips, you can just pop those off so I can show you how it's connected. It's a Y. It's just like a tree, just a Y with a ball on each end. So it connects into the torso there. That rotates and moves freely, and then each of the legs is on a ball as well, so they all move freely. Now the legs also spin around the ball socket. I can't really do it by hand, but the ball socket spins inside the legs, and this piece spins inside the leg armor, so plenty of articulation there, plenty of mobility. The knee is the same articulation as the elbow. It has a little bit more use out of the rotation there because of the sculpt. It accommodates for it a little bit better, so you can see you can get a little bit more posing out of there. The ankle's the same thing again, but again it has a little bit more use. You don't need as much though because the ankle has a rocker built into it, and if you'll see, the heel is connected to the front. So kind of like the Soda Revolutions figures or the newer Marvel Legends figures, the rotation comes horizontally. So that's nice. It looks nice, it's nice and hidden. And then of course there is a toe joint that goes almost 45 or almost 90 degrees. So plenty of articulation. Even the soles are sculpted. Everything's sculpted just really, really, really well. Spot on for the character. I can't complain about anything really. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be. Could I use a little bit more articulation in the torso? Probably. It wouldn't hurt. And that little gap in the arms, sure, that could be better. But really, I'm not complaining. It's awesome. It's a great figure. If you can get one, I highly recommend it. And of course, if you're not reviewing it, accidentally popping things off, you won't have any trouble. So that is a really good figure. I need to pop that shoulder back in, since I shouldn't have pulled it out. But either way, you can get great mobility out of her. She can easily put her hand on her gun like she does in the games. So really, the posability is endless with this figure. It's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get more similar style figures. I'm going to be getting the new Zelda Twilight Princess figure, Link. That's going to be a nice one to add to the collection. Hopefully I'll get some D-arts and some more figure arts and stuff too to show you guys. If you guys want to see reviews on these kind of figures, let me know. I'm definitely going to start collecting because they're just too darn nice. So there it is. That's the Figma Samus from Other M, the Other M game. I don't really like that title, but Samus Aran from Nintendo, Super Metroid. That's more common probably. People know that. Great figure, highly recommended. Don't spend too much on it because they're going for crazy amounts right now, but absolutely amazing figure. I can't recommend it enough. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for some more videos and some new customs in the near future. And in the meantime, keep collecting.